Hi, my name is Liz, and this is going to be my reptile page. I have 33 pets, 29 of which are reptiles, amphibians, arachnids. I'm going to take this video an opportunity to introduce you guys to all of my geckos, seeing as they are my most popular animal in my house. I'm going to introduce you to the different kinds I have, teach you a little bit about all of them. So we're just going to jump right in with the first, the one who started everything. He is the first reptile I bought. This is Leonard. He is my albino leopard gecko. This would be his girlfriend Lynette. She is a blizzard leopard gecko. She's a little more camera shy. These guys breed, they lay eggs. I am in the process of getting an incubator so I can start actually doing something with that instead of just false breeding. They love each other. They're best of friends. Like they're just two cuties. And yeah, I'm really excited to see eventually like what their baby combinations will look like. So next we have Mr. Mac and Miss Mindy. Mr. Mac is still kind of small. He is not quite as old as Miss Mindy, but Miss Mindy is fully grown, super healthy, super chunky, as you can see, very active, very friendly. They absolutely love each other. I don't know what they would do without each other. They are more of a normal morph of leopard gecko. They aren't gonna make anything crazy as far as babies go because they both look so similar, so you can expect that most of their babies will look like them. Now this is Mr. Bizzlemoth. I have tried to pair him with two different females and he decided he wants to be a bachelor. He is just not very friendly with other geckos, loves people, loves attention, super chunky, super healthy as you can see. He's all purple and kind of tan with his little black spot on his butt. His eyes were solid black the entire 4 years that I've had him. Up until about a year ago, I've had him about 5 years. He started to kind of grow pattern in his eyes. You can kind of see it in the glare. There's like a little bit of brown starting to come in. But his eyes were always solid black, so it's very interesting to watch him change slowly throughout the years and adapt into his full color spectrum. Last but certainly not least, we have Mr. Monk, and he is kind of my basket case of a leopard gecko, if you will. He has quite the backstory. He has been through 5 owners, roughly, all of which have had him for a few years at a time. At one point, he was stuck to a basement floor, lost all of his toes for the most part. You can see his toes are kind of short, not as long as the other guys, doesn't have his claws. He does sometimes have a problem shedding because he's getting so old. He does not hold weight as well as the others just because he is old. He is kept by himself for this reason of I don't want to stress him out. I don't want there to be any competition for food. I do make sure that he eats. I watch him eat. I hand feed him. He eats more than he should be. He's just not retaining the weight. You can see he's starting to get kind of wrinkly. Like you can tell when they're getting old, and he is at least 15 years old, and they only live about 10 to 20 years on average. So he being put through trauma and not having a good upbringing from the beginning I have no idea how much time left. We just take the best of care of him that we can and give him the best life possible. He is super friendly, loves everyone, used to have a girlfriend, but like I said, I removed them due to I did not want to stress him out at all. And now he's just living his life until as long as he decides to bless us with his company, I suppose. Now, Mr. Monk is going to join me in telling you guys a couple of fun facts about the leopard geckos. These guys are one of the few geckos that do have eyelids that can close. So when they sleep, they do close their eyes. A lot of geckos cannot. These guys are land-dwelling. They do not swim. They cannot swim. They are not good swimmers by any means. The males typically reach 8 to 11 inches and weigh 60 to 80 grams, while the females are a little smaller. They're normally 7 to 9 inches and about 50 to 70 grams. These guys' origin is southeastern Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, all of those real dry desert areas over there. They prefer 75 to 90 degrees on average, depending on their hot and cool side of their tank. And they do get a moist hide to help them shed because of their dry environment. And as you can see, like I said, this guy, he's just not the best shedder. He has his moist hide, and I think it's just because he's getting old. He's kind of struggling to do everything lately, which that's fine. Like I said, we love him and we give him the best life that we can while we still have him. He's been nothing but a blessing. He is one of the friendliest geckos that we have. Now, I decided to pull Miss Lynette back out for this last fun fact because I wanted to show you guys what it looks like when they drop and regrow their tail, because that is one of their defense mechanisms. They can drop and regrow their tail, and as you can see, very obviously, she dropped from right about there and it grew back. Doesn't look the same, but I mean, hey, it's better than not having a tail, so good job, Miss Lynette. So as you can see, these guys come in all sorts of color variants and patterns. They normally always have that leopard spot on them, and that's where they get their name from. But they come from albino, blizzard, leucistic, normal. You can get some real bright orange morphs. They have so many. It's honestly such a blessing to see all the different kinds of leopard geckos that there are. Next, we're going to get into the crested geckos. These are 3 of my guys that are housed together. I have another female in there, but I don't know if I can handle 4 of them at once. 3 is kind of pushing it. This is Mr. Skiz, Starla, you've got Echo up top, and we have a butthole in the tank, and she has her name for a reason. As you can see, these guys are arboreal. They like to live in the trees. I'm going to let Mr. Skiz jump back in his tank, because I need to focus on these 2 that are jumping everywhere now. And don't worry, she's okay. She just jumped right onto the stand. They have sticky fingers, and they usually land every shot that they take. So she is completely unharmed from jumping off my hand, as you saw. They are sticky. They can hold on upside down. They are super cool, super unique animals. These guys do not have eyelids, so they are always wide-eyed, and they show it with their derpy eyes. They actually use their tongue to keep their eyes clean since they cannot blink. Even when they're sleeping, they're just wide-eyed, funny-looking little guys and girls. These guys are most found in New Caledonia. And funny enough, back when they were first discovered, they were found by a French guy that went over there, and then they were not saw again for over 100 years. So they were actually thought to be extinct. And then after a tropical storm one day, after 100 years, over 100 years of not seeing a single one, boom, here they come, popping up all over again. And someone decided that they look cool and decided to make them a pet. As you can see, they use their tail to climb and for balance. They're all around really cool. They have their little eyelashes that are supposed to warn off predators, but they're actually really soft and they don't hurt at all. These guys are super cool. They enjoy more of a tropical, wet environment. They need more 70 to 75 degrees in their temperature environment. And yeah, all around just super friendly, love to be housed together. Never had 2 of them not like each other. So these guys are super interesting, super cool. So now I'm going to pull out Mr. Pongo and tell you some stuff about him, tell you why he is my only crested gecko kept separate, and finish up my fun facts about these guys. So these guys typically live 15 to 20 years on average. Males and females size doesn't really differ that much. They usually grow 8 to 10 inches, maybe 11 if you're lucky, and they typically weigh 25 to 50 grams. This guy right here was bought from a pet store, and I'm sure you can see right off rip, he does not look like the rest. He has what we call MBD, or metabolic bone disease. It's basically kind of like scoliosis for reptiles. You can see the deformation in his tail and in his spine. And again, he loves everyone. I do let them play together supervised when I'm holding all of them, but I just don't want any added stress for him. I don't want them to jump on him the wrong way, unsupervised, and possibly hurt him. So we keep him by himself. He is just in the tank right next to theirs. So that is his. That is all 4 of the other ones. So I do have 5 of these guys. But we keep him separate just because I don't want there to be any sort of issues or anything with him. I did not buy him. I would not have bought him knowing his condition, just personally, because I know about MBD. But my friend had got him for me as a housewarming present when I first moved in here, and so I was not going to not take him. I, of course, am going to give him the best life I possibly can. He acts like there's nothing wrong with him. I mean, he's super active, super friendly, still got his clings. It's just the fact that he doesn't look so normal, so I treat him a little more special and a little more one-on-one care versus everyone else just kind of gets thrown together, and yeah, I don't have to worry about them as much. These guys are super cool because they eat not only insects like the leopard geckos, because the leopard geckos are mostly insects. These guys also can eat fruit and a fruit calcium powder that we call Pangea. I have a whole bunch of it down here, lots of bags of it. It's just a powder that you mix with water and it makes them their food. It's a substitute for fruit because a lot of the fruit that we eat is high in sugar, so that's not good for them all the time versus out in the wild. It's not pumped with all the additives that we get from the store. And yeah, these guys get misted all the time, and they just all around super cool animal. All right, so this pretty girl right here is one of my absolute favorites in the house. She is gorgeous. Something I did not mention about the cresteds, they color change. So as you saw, most of them were tan, yellow kind of color. They do get a bright orange, brownish color, like a rusty looking color. It's called firing up, depending on their mood, depends on their color. So right now, my gargoyle gecko, that's what she is. She is gray with her orange spots, but she will turn dark brown with those same orange spots. And right now she is calm and collect, so she's not all fired up. It's usually when they're hunting, eating, or if they get woken up really abruptly that their color will get dark like that. It's not a bad thing. It's just showing that they're active and alert. So these guys have a lot of the same features as the crested geckos. They are arboreal. They do have their sticky clings. They are a tropical misted gecko, not a desert. They eat all the same stuff. Their housing is basically the same. Their temperatures can get a little bit warmer, but it's around the same 70 to 80 on average. These guys also can't swim, just like the crested geckos. If they had to, they could, but it's not recommended because it's very stressful because they were not made to swim. They were made to climb. These guys get around 8 to 11 inches long and will be about, they can get up to 65 grams. They're a little bit of a chunkier lizard. Like, they're known for their body weight because their tails are long and skinny. And these guys are all around just super cool as well. She's got some real pretty eyes. As you can see, she's super active. She's very friendly. She's just really active because she's still young. She's only about 2 years old. I've only had her about 1.5 years now, and she's just become one of my real good friends. I love her. This is Miss Reptar. I plan to get her a boyfriend soon and probably name him Tommy from Rugrats, if you guys know. So yeah, she's another real cool kind. And they're just very, very similar to the crested geckos in every sort of way, down to their origin. They are also from New Caledonia, and it's one of the few places that they're found. So it sounds like I need to move to New Caledonia because they got all the cool geckos there. Now, last and certainly least in size, we have my chameleon gecko, or my Urodactylus, I believe is how you say it. Don't quote me. These guys are not quite as big. As you can see, he is fully grown. They only get about 4 to 5 inches in length. They only weigh about 10 to 12 grams. Their diet and housery is real similar to the gargoyles and the crested geckos. They live about 15 to 20 years as well. They also don't blink. They do not drop their tail, and the same defense mechanism as the others do. But if it gets injured, it can grow back, which is super nifty because the crested geckos, when they drop their tail, it does not grow back. And with the gargoyles, they're one of the few that they drop their tail, they regrow it, and it's almost impossible to tell that they regrew their tail. So that's really interesting to see the different types of geckos and their defense mechanisms, if they can regrow their tail and how it grows back. It's really cool to just have a bunch of different kinds and get to learn all sorts of little interesting things about them as we go. These guys have a lot of morphs as well, but they're more natural colors. You'll really only find them in like browns and greens, and they also are about 70 to 80 degrees and enjoy that misting, like I said. These guys are actually found in the wet tropical rainforest of North Queensland, Australia. So a little bit different area, but definitely still real similar. As you can see, he's real active, but also real calm. Once he realizes that we're hanging out, he'll just kind of hug my finger. And if I keep him going, he'll keep going. And that's just how he is. He's a real fast little guy. Just super cute, super cool. This is Gator, by the way. I thought it was very ironic. So when I ask people if they want to see my gator, and then I show them this guy, they're like, that's not what I was expecting, but okay. So yeah, he's super cool, super friendly. Real interesting little dude. I love his little hands. That's probably my favorite part about him. His hands are so small. Okay, so basically we just covered everyone on this shelf except for Miss Charlotte, who is my pink toe tarantula, and this tank down here, which I'm going to leave a surprise for a separate video when I do my bigger lizard. I'm thinking next I'm going to do my snakes and kind of do an intro with them as well. A couple fun facts, do their names. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if this was fun and informative to watch and if you'd like to see more.